This is lesson 1-8, number properties. In this lesson we will use commutative, associative, identity, and distributive properties to solve problems. The admissions costs for the Louisville Science Center are shown. Admission is $12 a person, and the movie tickets for the IMAX are $8 a person. It asks us to find the total cost of admission and a movie for a family of 4. Describe the method you use to find the total cost. Well, they use 2 methods down here. In method number 1, you can see that they multiplied 4 times 12, which is the cost of the admission, and then they multiplied 4 times 8, which is the cost of the movie. In the second example, they added the 12 and the 8, which is the cost for 1 admission and 1 movie, and then multiplied that by 4. These are what we call equivalent expressions, which means they have the same value, which is $80. This shows how to use the distributive property to combine addition and multiplication. The distributive property says to multiply a sum by a number, multiply each addend of the sum by the number outside the parentheses. So in the first example here, we have the sum of 4 plus 6. So we distribute the 3 to the 4 and the 3 to the 6. We then multiply and then add, rather than add, then multiply. It shows it algebraically. In the second example, the only difference there is that they use variables instead of numbers. Example number 1, it says use the distributive property to rewrite each expression, then evaluate it. Again, in this example, they've taken the sum of 3 plus 2, distributed the 5 to the 3 and the 5 to the 2, multiplied first. 5 times 3 is 15, 5 times 2 is 10, then added, got 25. In the second example, we have 3 times 7 plus 3 times 4. So what they've done here is combine the 3 and the 4. In other words, add before you multiply, then multiply that sum of 11 times 3, which gives us 33. In the Check Your Progress problem, problem number 1, we're going to distribute the 6 to the 1, so we have 6 times 1, and then we're going to add that to 6 times 4, which means we multiply before we add. We get 6 plus 24, which gives us a sum of 30. In the second example, we're going to combine the 9 and the 3 before we multiply. So we have 6 times 9 plus 3, which is 6 times 12, which is 72. The Tour de France is a cycling race through France that lasts 22 days. If a cyclist averages 90 miles per day, how far does he travel? In this first example, you can see that they've taken the 22 and rewritten it as the sum of 20 plus 2. Then they've distributed the 90 to the 20 and the 90 to the 2, which makes your multiplication somewhat easier, giving us a total of 1,980 miles. In the example, we're going to take 120 and we're going to rewrite that as 100 plus 20. Then what we're going to do is we're going to distribute the 5 months that Jennifer saved. It says she saved $120 each month for 5 months. How much did she save in all? Explain your reasoning. So we're going to take the 120 and rewrite it as a sum of 100 plus 20. Distribute the 5 to the 100, which gives us a nice simple multiplication. 5 times 20, another nice simple multiplication, gives us 500 plus 100, or a total of $600. Properties are statements that are true for all numbers. These are the commutative property that says that the order in which you add or multiply numbers does not change the sum of the product. A plus B is the same as B plus A. A times B is the same as B times A. The associative property says the way in which 3 numbers are grouped when they are added or multiplied does not change their sum or product. Again, you can see these examples. Here they've grouped the B and the C first, and in the second example they've grouped the A and the B first. You're going to get the same answer either way, whether it's addition or multiplication. The two identity properties, one of addition, one of multiplication. The identity property of addition says if you add 0 to a number, the add-end value remains the same. If you multiply a factor times 1, again, the value there is not changed either. Those are called the identity properties of multiplication and addition. These properties only apply when you're multiplying or adding. They do not apply when you divide or subtract. Use properties to evaluate expressions. Find 5 times 12 times 25 mentally and justify your answer. Well, if you look carefully at this one, what you can see here is from the original expression, they've changed the order of the 12 and the 25 so that they get what we call compatible numbers. 4 and 25, because 4 times 25 is 100, gives us a nice easy product there. And then 100 times 12 is 120. We'll do the same thing, or we'll do a similar thing down in these two examples. In example D, we're going to take 40 times 7 times 5. We're going to rewrite that as 40 times 5 times 7. Move the parentheses, gives us 200 times 7, which is 1,400. In our second example, an addition example, we're going to take 89 plus 15, which we should add together first because of the parentheses. We're going to rewrite this as 89 plus 1 plus 15. Keep the parentheses, change the order. We get 90 plus 15, which is 105. Making the numbers more compatible, easier to calculate. Example number 1 says use the distributive property to rewrite expression and evaluate it or find its value. So 7 times 4 plus 3, we'll just do the odd numbers here. Gives us 7 times 4 plus 7 times 3, which gives us 28, plus 21, which gives us 49. Example 3, 3 times 9 plus 3 times 6. We would rewrite that as 3 times 9 plus 6, which is 3 times 15, which is 45. Example number 5 says, admission to a baseball game is $12 and a hot dog costs $5. Use the distributive property to mentally find the total cost for 4 tickets and 4 hot dogs. Explain your reasoning. Well, we're going to take 4 times 12 plus 5, which you're going to rewrite as 4 times 12 plus 4 times 5. 4 times 12 is 48. 4 times 5 is 20. Our cost is $68. Number 7, it says find each expression mentally and then justify each step. In number 7, what I would do is I would change the order to 44 plus 16 plus 23. And then I would regroup that like this. The 44 and the 16 are compatible. That gives me 60 plus 23, which gives me a value of 83. Here are the answers. You can go back and check yours if you decided to do some additional examples. These are the correct answers. The two vocabulary terms in this lesson are equivalent expressions and properties. You're responsible for knowing those. You should memorize them. You'll be evaluated on your knowledge of those terms at some point in the chapter. At this point, you should quit the video, go back to the Scott Highlands homepage, click on the Moodle login link. When you see this page, type in your username, which is your student number, and then your password, which is the first 6 digits of your last name, and your 2-digit birthday. Good luck.